I think the summer is over. I've had to break out my big winter sweater. A fourth grader is threatened with sexual harassment charges for writing the classmate a love letter. Global warming advocates are calling for the prosecution of groups that disagree with them, and advice on how to deal with Muslims in the 21st century from Thomas Jefferson. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr, and in my book, Riell Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM The Lion. You know the call number, 877-254-7524. My friends, it's Thursday, it's cold. I've broken out the huge green sweater, which doubles as a tent. That means summer is over, and that sucks. Item from the Conservative Post. Thomas Jefferson's response to Muslims in 1801 is more important today than ever. America's first war with Islamic terrorists should be remembered. Wikipedia says, the First Barbary War, 1801-1805, also known as the Tripolitan War of the Barbary Coast War, was the first of two wars fought between the United States and the Northwest African Berber Muslim states known collectively as the Barbary States. These were the Ottoman provinces of Tripoli, Algiers, and Tunis, which were enjoying a large autonomy, as well as the independent Sultanate of Morocco. The war was fought because U.S. President Thomas Jefferson refused to pay the high tributes demanded by the Barbary states, and because they were seizing American merchant ships and enslaving the crews for high ransoms. It was the first declared war the United States fought on foreign land and seas. Downtrend reports in 1786, Jefferson and John Adams met with Tripoli's ambassador to Great Britain. They asked this diplomat by what right his nation attacked American ships and enslaved her citizens, and why the Muslims held such hostility toward this new nation, with which neither Tripoli nor any of the other Barbary Coast nations had any previous contact. The answer was quite revealing. Sidi Haji Abdul Rahman Aja, the ambassador, replied that Islam, quote, was founded on the laws of their prophet, that it was written in their Quran that all nations who should not have acknowledged their authority were sinners, that it was their right and duty to make war upon them wherever they could be found, and to make slaves of all they could take as prisoners, and that every Mussulman, that's a Muslim, who should be slain in battle was sure to go to paradise. That is indeed quite revealing. Yet America continued paying ransoms to these terrorists for the next 15 years or so, until Jefferson became president. Then the Pasha, the leader of Tripoli, sent a demand to the new leader for an immediate payment of $225,000 and $25,000 per year on an ongoing basis. Jefferson flatly refused, leading the Pasha to cut down the flagpole of the American consulate and declare war on the United States. The rest of the terrorist states followed suit. Jefferson had formerly been against raising a navy, but this soon changed as he was determined to meet force with force. A squadron of vessels was sent to the area, and Congress authorized Jefferson to have the U.S. ships seize all vessels and goods that belonged to the Pasha and anything else deemed necessary. As they saw the U.S. was actually committed to the fight, Algiers and Tunis quickly abandoned the war and allegiance to Tripoli. Unquote. So, my friends, Thomas Jefferson, way back in the late 17 and early 1800s, already knew more about Islam than our leaders do today. He met them with force and with resolve, and to no one's surprise, at least in retrospect, they backed down. Because Muslim hordes, Muslim armies are always cowardly. They're always cowardly, just like any bully is a coward. So, the lesson to be learned today, and believe me, I am not holding my breath waiting for Barack Hussein Obama to learn the lessons of Thomas Jefferson in dealing with Obama's fellow Muslims. The lesson to be learned today is to deal from strength, and that's not exactly a hard thing to do when you're a country, as the United States is, with the biggest, most well-equipped, best-trained, most effective army in the history of the world. All we have to do is find the resolve to do so, to bloody the nose of the Islamic world and say, no, Your day is over, and then we can do it. If you don't believe me, ask Thomas Jefferson. He knew, and he got results. That's why he will go down in history as one of the great presidents of all time, while Barack Obama simply will go down the drain. Item from RasmussenReports.com. Global warming advocates are calling for the prosecution of groups who disagree with them. And New York State has taken it a step further by investigating ExxonMobil for refusing to play ball with the popular scientific theory. But 68% of likely U.S. voters oppose the government investigating and prosecuting scientists and others, including major corporations who question global warming. A new Rasmussen Reports national telephone survey finds that 17% favor such prosecutions, 15% are undecided. Unquote. My friends, it's a weird consistency in life. It's a pattern. But the true Nazis, the true tyrants, they're always liberals. Always. Didn't you see that video in the last 2 or 3 days about that college professor, a woman with red hair? There's a student taking photographs, taking a video of an event going on. It's in Missouri. Has to do with the whole stink there about alleged racism. So here's this professor, college professor, a liberal. She tries to shut down the student's cameras. And when the student refuses to stop shooting, she goes and looks for a security guard to shut him down, because liberals are censors. Liberals are always the tyrants. Liberals end up being the Nazis. And that's why if you disagree with them about global warming, they want to drag you into court, because they know their ideas are BS, and the only way they can get any traction is through force. That's why we should never, ever, ever vote for a liberal politician. Item from the Washington Examiner. Donald Trump raged against the federal government's treatment of veterans on Thursday morning, that's today, and said he thinks illegal immigrants who manage to slip into the United States are getting better treatment. It's so bad, it's so bad and so sad. The veterans are treated so horribly, Trump said on Fox and Friends. You know, the illegal immigrants are treated better in many cases than our veterans. It's disgraceful. Trump, who ranks third in the Washington Examiner's GOP presidential power rankings, expressed disgust with the Department of Veteran Affairs and said he has an ideal replacement in mind for VA Secretary Robert McDonald. But Trump would not say who that person is, saying only that the person would be a man. I will fix the Veterans Administration through great management, Trump said. I would have somebody in mind. I actually have somebody I think would be phenomenal, unquote. All right, guys, Thursday, Riell Truth, you get it. We'll be right back.
Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, in his new book about religious violence,
The end of a broadcast week. It's Thursday. Howard Riell, Riell Truth. Lots of crummy things going on in the world. So let me turn things around here on Thursday. Let me bring you a person on this next video who actually inspires me. And I'm not being facetious in the least. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, former chief rabbi of Great Britain. He's got a new book out, which I recommend to everybody. I'm not getting any PR payment for this. It's strictly my recommendation to a bunch of friends out there in the audience. It's called Not in God's Name, Confronting Religious Violence. NPR recently interviewed Jonathan Sacks about his new book about violence and violence that stems from religion. It's a popular topic these days. Let's give a listen.
Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, in his new book about religious violence, writes a great deal about it.
My friends, you want to do yourself a favor. You want to do your children a favor and your friends and your spouses. Go to YouTube, punch in the name Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, S-A-C-K-S. Up will come a bunch of videos. He is a marvelous speaker with a lot of important truths to tell. You will enjoy it. Your whole family will enjoy it. It may just change your life. I'm being very serious. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks on YouTube. Start watching. That's your homework assignment for the weekend. Item from Roll Call. A whopping 49% of Republicans and independents who lean to the GOP say Trump is the presidential candidate who can best handle the issue. That's immigration. Well ahead of Marco Rubio with 10% of GOP support, Ted Cruz with 7%, and Jeb Bush at 5%. Unquote. That's because Bush is talking about transferring illegals out, deporting them. There is no time, there is no space for half measures now. Not going to be easy transferring people out, but they must be transferred out. They must be deported. Have to be. And for a simpleton like John Kasich to say, how are you going to break up families? You're going to break up families. Get over it. Item from Reuters. Students were set to walk out of classrooms across the United States on Thursday to protest ballooning student loan debt for higher education and rally for tuition-free public colleges and a minimum wage hike for campus workers. The demonstrations also are planned just 2 days after the thousands of fast food workers took to the streets in a nationwide day of action, pushing for a $15 an hour minimum wage and union rights for the industry. Unquote. My friends, the level of ignorance in this country is appalling, and it's depressing. Students want free college. Hey, I'd like some free pizza. Send it to the radio station, and they'll forward it to me. Then again, I'd like another free car, or maybe a free pair of sneakers. What's that? Someone's going to pay for it? Oh, it's not going to be me. Let everyone else pay for my pizza and my sneakers. That's the argument that the students are making here. Now, as far as these fast food workers who are out there picketing because they want $15 an hour minimum wage, listen, I've been writing about the fast food industry since 1983. What we're seeing now is fast food workers, the minimum wage guys, are being fired and replaced by machines that work at a tiny fraction of the cost. So, if they have a job, they need to shut up. They need to take the salaries that are offered because $15 an hour will either break the business and force it to close or force the owner to downsize, which means instead of getting $12 an hour, $10 an hour, they'll be getting $0 an hour. So if their question is, how am I going to live on $10 or $12 an hour? The answer is you're not. You're going to improve yourself. You're going to get more job skills, more education, and you're going to make yourself more attractive in the marketplace and come to the shattering realization that flipping burgers was never intended to be a lifelong career. And if that's what it is for you, then you are dramatically underselling your life. Item from InfoWars. In a story that perfectly encapsulates the insane degree to which our society has been neutered by political correctness, a 9-year-old child has been threatened with sexual harassment charges for writing a love letter to his classmate. The love letter, one of many according to WPTV News, stated that the Florida boy is enamored with how his classmate, quote, wears the same school uniform and how her eyes, quote, sparkle like diamonds. It also notes how the boy finds his crush, quote, pretty, and features a heart with the words, quote, I like you. My friends, this kid is a terrorist. This kid's a murderer. He's a future mafia hitman. We better shackle him and drug him and tase him and do everything in the world to see to it that this kind of behavior is punished. Well, believe it or not, that's how the brainless simpletons in the educational institution that he attends see it. He writes a nice little love note, by the way, for 9 years old. That's pretty good writing. He writes a love note to a classmate, and they're threatening him with sexual charges, sexual harassment charges. My friends, America has gotten stupid to a degree heretofore undreamed of. And leading that charge, leading that trend, are educators, ironically. The Hillsborough County student wrote the note in class, alerting other children to its existence and prompting them to tease that the boy wants to see the girl naked. That's when the principal proceeded to tell me that it wasn't appropriate that he was writing the note. And then if he writes another note, they're going to file sexual harassment charges on my 9-year-old, the boy's mother told reporters. Unquote. My friends, this principal is an idiot. I mean, I could say it in a different way. I could be more diplomatic. I could use colorful, poetic language. I could use iambic pentameter. I won't. The principal is an idiot. The problem with America is that there are many principals and school board officials and teachers who are also idiots, once again giving rise to that old bromide that those who can do and those who can't teach. Now, will this young child be scarred? I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. Will this kind of behavior continue? Because you know I report on this stuff just about every single day. I certainly hope not either. We're doing a lot, an awful lot in this country to damage our children. And that's not just a crime. It's a sin. We'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source of certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.net can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to HappyHens.net for pricing and ingredients. At HappyHens.net, we love Happy Hens. Or call us at 303-829-5948. H&H evacuation and habits reminds listeners that thousands of children are abducted in America every year. Most of these cases are quickly resolved, often thanks to tips from caring and observant individuals. Most cases not quickly solved can have tragic consequences. If you have any information that could lead to the location of a missing child, please call the authorities. Your call could save a child's life. This message is from H&H evacuation and habits. They're all here working for the future of our children. Enterprises Incorporated in Fort Collins reminds drivers to help ensure the safety of our area drivers.
Go to a city like
Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from computing our independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Consultative capabilities as modest as emergency lighting, all the way to commercial scale power. Great Place Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to greatplacesolar.com. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
All right, guys, welcome back. A few years ago, I had Jamie Glazov as a guest on this show. He's the head of the Glazov Gang. You can find his videos on frontpagemag.com. He's put out about a little over 5-minute video here. The title is The Unknown, and it's about Islam and its assault on women. And for all the liberals and the Democrats and Hillary Clinton yapping ignorantly about the Republicans' war on women, which doesn't exist, Muslims are raging a real war on women. So listen up. Here we go. Hello, and welcome to The Unknown. Tonight, I wanted to share a story with you, and then I decided instead of sharing a story, to just give you a more general idea. And this general idea is not only based on Quran, also comes from the Constitution as well as the law of Iran, as always. So, a lot of people argue So, to the feminists out there, you've got your work cut out for you. Iran and other Muslim countries in the Middle East are doing horrifying things to women. That's where your battlefield is. So, by all means, pack a bag, go there, and tell the Muslim regimes how they should truly treat women with humanity and respect. And because that's what's happening in the world, and obviously what's happening here pales in comparison, you need to shut up here. Seriously. Item from the economiccollapseblog.com. So many of the exact same patterns that we witnessed just before the stock market crash of 2008 are playing out once again right before our eyes. Most of the time, a stock market crash doesn't just come out of nowhere. Normally, there are specific leading indicators that we can look for that will tell us if major trouble's on the horizon. One of these leading indicators is the junk bond market. Right now, a closely watched high-yield bond ETF known as JNK is sitting at 35.77. If it falls below 35, that will be a major red flag, and it'll be the first time that it's done so since 2009. As you can see from this chart, my friends, I'm not lying. If you go to the Economic Collapse blog, you will see the chart. JNK started crashing in June and July of 2008, well before equities started crashing later that year. A crash in junk bonds almost always precedes a major crash in stocks. Item from the End of the American Dream blog. Something strange is happening to our planet. Over the past 30 days, there seems to have been much more shaking than normal, and this is particularly true along the Ring of Fire. This afternoon, I visited the official website of the U.S. Geological Survey, and I discovered that Chile had been hit with 12 major earthquakes within the last 24 hours alone. The smallest was of magnitude 4.4, and the two largest both measured magnitude 6.9. We've also seen dozens of volcanoes erupt recently, including the incredibly dangerous Mount Popocatépetl in Mexico. Fortunately, we have not seen a major disaster that kills thousands of people yet, but many believe all this shaking is leading up to one. In addition, the weather all over the world continues to get freakier and freakier. Just today, Yemen was hit by a second major tropical cyclone in less than a week. Any one of these strange disasters in isolation might not seem like that big of a deal, but when you start putting all the pieces together, it starts to become clear that something really significant is taking place. Item from Jihad Watch. 4 men have been arrested in the UK as part of an operation to break up a terror recruitment ring that sent fighters to Iraq and Syria. Italian police said Najmuddin Faraj Ahmad, who was jailed in Norway last month for praising the Charlie Hebdo killings, was the ideological leader of the group. The investigation monitored internet chats with members of the cell who were spread across Britain, Finland, Germany, Greece, Italy, Norway, and Sweden. It's understood none of the 4 men arrested in the UK are British nationals. Unquote. No, my friend, not British nationals. They're Muslims, and that is what makes them dangerous. We'll be back.